The foreign ministers of 10 nations representing nearly half the world's population gathered in New Delhi for a two-day BRICS summit. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Iran, the UAE, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Indonesia. Together, they account for roughly 40% of global GDP and a huge share of the world's population and trade. The gathering was supposed to project unity, an emerging bloc building an alternative to Western-led institutions. But this year, one issue is overwhelming everything else: the war in Iran. And the divisions it has created inside BRICS are no longer behind closed doors. They are on camera, in speeches, and in the corridors of a summit that is struggling to hold its own members together while the conflict reshapes the global order around them. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, did not arrive in New Delhi to negotiate. He arrived to make a demand. He called on BRICS member states to explicitly condemn what he described as the unlawful aggression of the United States and Israel against Iran, a member of this bloc. He said the West's false sense of superiority and immunity must be shattered. He urged BRICS to resist the politicization of international institutions, and he framed Iran's war not as a national crisis, but as a front line in a larger struggle between the global South and what he called Western hegemony. Araghchi framed Iran's war as a fight that concerns the entire global South, not just Iran alone. That line recasts the conflict as something bigger than Iran and pressures every country at that table to decide how far its solidarity really goes.
The Strait of Hormuz is now suffering first and most from the U.S. aggression and the blockade that they have imposed on it. As far as we are concerned, the Strait of Hormuz is open for all, commercial vessels. But they need to cooperate with our Navy forces. So we have not made any obstacles. It is Americans who have made blockade, and I hope that that could be ended by the removal of this illegal blockade imposed by Americans.
India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar struck a markedly different tone. He did not name Iran, the United States, or Israel. He spoke about the world entering a period of considerable flux. He warned about economic shockwaves caused by ongoing conflicts, trade disruptions, and energy insecurity. He called for safe and unimpeded maritime flows, a phrase that applies directly to Hormuz without assigning blame. And he said there is a growing expectation, particularly from emerging markets and developing countries, that BRICS will play a constructive and stabilizing role. The language was carefully calibrated. India is hosting the summit, preserving ties with Iran, and managing a relationship with Washington that it cannot afford to damage. Jaishankar's speech was a masterclass in saying everything without saying anything specific.
We meet at a time of considerable flux in international relations, ongoing conflicts, economic uncertainties, and challenges in trade, technology, and climate are shaping the global landscape. There is a growing expectation, particularly from emerging markets and developing countries, that BRICS will play a constructive and stabilizing role. In this background, our discussions today are an opportunity to reflect on global and regional developments and to consider practical ways to strengthen our cooperation.
India, as BRICS chair, has organized more than 80 BRICS meetings this year. Jaishankar highlighted steady progress, active participation, and growing cooperation across sectors. He spoke about integrating new members and updating existing mechanisms, but none of that institutional progress addresses the fundamental problem the bloc now faces. Two of its members are now locked in direct confrontation and public accusation. A third, Russia, remains politically aligned with Iran and central to the bloc's internal balancing act. A fourth, China, has major strategic and energy stakes tied to how this crisis ends. And the host, India, is trying to hold the chair together while the Gulf crisis is already spilling directly into Indian commercial and maritime interests.
Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, and esteemed colleagues, I wish you all a very good morning. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to each of you here in India for this significant meeting of the BRICS Ministers of Foreign Affairs and International Relations. As your chair, I want to thank each and every delegation for their presence here today. and for their continued steadfast commitment to strengthening cooperation within the entire BRICS framework. All of us remain in close and regular contact through bilateral and multilateral engagements. Gathering today for the BRICS meeting is, however, a special occasion. It allows us to exchange perspectives and encourages us to develop convergences. And in this complicated and uncertain world, that is of ever greater importance. Excellencies, India's chairship appreciates your support, which has contributed to the steady progress of our work. To date, we have organized over 80 BRICS meetings with active participation from all members. These engagements have strengthened cooperation and advanced dialogue across sectors. We look forward to building on this momentum. Promoting a more inclusive and collaborative BRICS framework, we, as chair, have been engaging partner countries as well. We have also taken forward discussions on institutional development, including the integration of new members through a stock-taking and updating of existing mechanisms. It is essential for the smooth advancement of BRICS that later members fully appreciate and subscribe to the BRICS consensus on various important issues. Excellencies, we meet at a time of considerable flux in international relations, ongoing conflicts, economic uncertainties, and challenges in trade, technology, and climate are shaping the global landscape. There is a growing expectation, particularly from emerging markets and developing countries, that BRICS will play a constructive and stabilizing role. In this background, our discussions today are an opportunity to reflect on global and regional developments and to consider practical ways to strengthen our cooperation. Development issues remain central. Many countries face challenges regarding energy, food, fertilizer, and health security, as well as access to finance. BRICS can help them respond more effectively. Economic resilience is also key. Reliable supply chains and diversified markets are its essential competence. We must focus on both. Climate change remains a pressing concern. Our discussions must advance sustainable development while upholding principles of equity and common but differentiated responsibilities. Technological advancements are reshaping the global landscape. They can be leveraged for good governance and inclusive growth. Peace and security remain central to the global order. Recent conflicts only underline the importance of dialogue and diplomacy. There is also a deeply shared interest in strengthening cooperation against terrorism. Excellencies, as chair, I will facilitate an open and constructive exchange. I encourage all delegations to share their perspectives in that spirit. Your valuable inputs will help guide our discussions and contribute to meaningful outcomes. I would once again like to welcome you all and look forward to a productive discussion. I thank you all very much for your attention.